Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Kathy Durham joins us. She's from West Wendover, and she's running for CD2. Here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up-to-date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're delighted to welcome to the program for the first time Kathy Durham. She is a Democrat running for CD2 against Mark Amodei. Actually, first you're running against a whole bunch of Democrats in a primary, and then with the hope of running against Mark Amodei. I want you to introduce yourself, because I think that, like me, most people, unless they've been to your website, don't know that much about you. But you did serve on the West Wendover City Council. For those in Southern Nevada that may not have any idea of where West Wendover is, let's start there and then tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, West Wendover is right on the border of Utah, Nevada. So there is Wendover, Utah, home of the famous Enola Gay and the training for the Manhattan Project there. And then just across the border is West Wendover, Nevada. Usually what I tell people is we're 110 miles east of Elko and 122 miles west of Salt Lake City. So I am a rural school teacher. I've been in West Wendover for 26 years. I teach history, government, and economics. Before I moved to Nevada, West Wendover, I lived in Salt Lake City. Grew up my dad was in the Army. And so I lived in Salt Lake City. Then we moved to Camas when I was in junior high.
Where's Camas?
Camas is just east of Park City.
Okay.
Beautiful ranching community. So we moved up there, lived on 23 acres. And I went from, as the kids call it, being a city slicker to a rural farm girl, where we had alfalfa fields that we used to bale and hay, and had horses, cows, chickens, the whole 9 yards. And I learned what it was to work the land. Just really enjoyed that. And then I moved back down to Salt Lake City, lived there for a while, got married, started teaching, and lost a bet to my husband, and that's how we ended up in West Wendover, and it was the best bet I ever lost.
All right, so let me ask you this. As somebody that teaches government, you know the realities of the political world. Nevada has a history of people who start out from humble beginnings in rural Nevada. Senator Harry Reid would be one that can rise up to the highest office in the land. What made you decide that you wanted to run for CD2?
Well, I'm not a politician, and I have no aspirations of being a career politician.
So why do you want to be a congressman then?
Because the government that I teach is not what we see playing out in Washington, D.C. The dark chapters that I teach are exactly what we see playing out here now in America.
What do you mean dark chapters?
Well, all of we are losing our checks and balances, our separation of powers, the rule of law. We're talking about colonizing Greenland. The day of empire building is supposed to be behind us. And so I just, and we have a representative that does not come out and condemn. He does not come out and condone. He doesn't come out and explain to the people where he stands on these issues. And if we, the people, have it so wrong because we've heard it wrong on the media or whatever, then he owes it to us, his constituents, to explain to us what's going on. And so again, back to your question, which I thank you for, why do I want to run? Because I don't feel like that this moment in history calls for any of us to stand on the sidelines. And I feel like I need to go and use my teacher voice in the halls of Congress and maybe bring some classroom management to the House floor.
Okay, so playing devil's advocate here, you can sign up for Congressman Amade's email letter, and he actually does a very good job of explaining his reasoning behind all the votes that he takes. I remember asking him when he was running President Trump's first campaign here in Nevada, and he said, he's the head of my team. Who do you think I would be supporting? So, that part makes sense. And he's probably one of the most accessible politicians I know. And I'm not defending Mark Amity, I'm just laying out the Mark Amity I know. He travels, as you know, all across rural Nevada constantly. And so anybody that wants to have a conversation with Mark Amity can do so. Now, whether you agree with his positions or not, that's a whole different story. But I think that where you have other politicians, even here in the Silver State, that are not accessible even to the media, that he actually has done a pretty good job of communicating. Again, whether you agree with him or not.
Well, with all due respect, I disagree with the premise that he's the most accessible.
Who's the most accessible then?
Well, I want to just stick with Mark right now because,
okay.
And the reason I say that is because as I've been traveling the state and talking to people, that's what I hear from people is, where's Mark? He won't answer my calls. He doesn't answer my letters. People are reaching out to his office and they're hearing nothing, and they haven't seen or heard from him. And so I know that I haven't seen him in West Wendover ever, and I've been there for 26 years. Now, I know he has not served for 26 years, but, putting out a newsletter and then showing up into the community are two entirely different things. Returning someone's phone call, whether it's your staff or whether it's him, that's what I'm hearing from people, is that he's not accessible. You talk about the town halls and how he doesn't hold the town hall. I know he was on your program and he said, I'm not going to go because that's where people just come and yell at you. Well, part of being in Congress is taking the heat when people feel like they're not getting answers, they're not getting served, things aren't working for them. And you have an obligation and an onus to show up and take those questions and answer them and explain to people.
Yeah, and I could certainly say, that this is something that is across the political spectrum of where these town halls have become very aggressive, and a lot of politicians don't want to do these town halls, simply because of the abuse that they're taking, and they're trying to find other ways to communicate. Speaking of other ways to communicate, one of the things one would need if one is running for Congress is money. What are your thoughts on your ability to raise money to be able to combat and Mark Amity is not one who raises huge amounts of money. In his last race, he had an opponent that raised $11 million, and Congressman Amity said, there's no way I'm raising anything like that. Mm-hmm. And he won anyway. So what's your David and Goliath story as far as fundraising goes? Well,
I don't come from money. I don't run with money. I don't hang with money. And I'm a teacher. I don't have a lot of money. And, Congress is supposed to be the house that's closest to the people. And I think it's wrong that somebody is supposed to have a big bag of cash in order to get into Congress. And I think it's even more wrong that when you get to Congress, you're expected to raise another big bag of cash. That's something that I hope that I can change when I get there. But I think...
So you're a realist, right?
I'm a realist. I'm an idealist.
Right, but you're a realist.
Sure.
And you're a teacher. You know you have to raise money.
Sure. I know I have to raise money, and I've, so far I've raised a little bit of money, and all of it has been unsolicited. People are hearing my message. I'm traveling the state. This is probably my 7th time in the last couple of months, traveling from Wendover to Reno and back again, and hitting all of the towns in between, and talking with people and listening to people. And then people are going to my website, and then they're going in and donating money, and we'll cross that bridge when it comes. But right now, I'm just trying to get my message out, and also.
But how do you do that with?
Well, we have this thing called the internet now, and we have this wonderful show called Nevada Newsmakers.
Bless you.
And so you use the tools that you have, and
well, you've got
that you can.
You've got a good example in your former mayor, Daniel Corona, who managed to spread the word and become quite well known across the state with his activities.
It's my former student.
Well, there you go. So when you I remember talking to Bernie Anderson, who was the Democratic Assemblyman from Sparks, years ago, and he's no longer with us, sadly, but his daughter now serves in the legislature. And I said to him, is what you teach in school the reality of what happens at the legislature? And he smiled at me, didn't say a word, but shook his head. So when you look at politics, is what you teach your students the reality of what actually goes on in politics?
No, that's why I'm running. We are losing our system of separation of powers, checks and balances, and the rule of law. We have, I think, a system that is not serving the people. And you might say, well, what difference can you make? You're just one of 435. Well, when one person stands up and does the right thing, it makes it easier for the second person to stand up and do the right thing.
But you have not seen that. That's one of the things that's so fascinating about this Congress. And I'm not separating it into Republicans and Democrats and independents. I'm saying it as Congress, that they have not stood up and defended themselves.
Well, that's why they need to have a little bit of teacher voice in the halls of Congress and some classroom management brought to the House floor. I mean, teachers know how to figure things out and get things done.
All right, but you also know that if you are lucky enough to be elected, you would be number 435 in the list, and you'd have to be reelected multiple times to get to any position of seniority. Most of what you would do would be constituent service.
Well,
do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that there is a game that is played, and there is a pecking order. But my goal is to get elected, and when I get there, to get the work done that I can do to work for the people of Nevada.
Okay, so what is the work that you think you can get done? And by the way, I applaud anybody, I don't care what their political position is, who runs for office, because it's a tough road to get elected, and it's an even tougher road to be in office. And the amount of time and energy one has to put in is incredible. So I salute anybody that is prepared to run for office.
Yeah, well, I would say that the first thing that I would do is make sure that Congress reclaims its power and authority granted to it in the Constitution under Article 1.
Why do you think they've given it up at this point in time? 3 separate co-equal branches of government, and one of them is just not playing.
Yeah, I think that people are looking around, and I think that there are certain members of Congress that, are just looking to serve themselves and keep their own position of power. And they have forgotten why they were sent to Washington, D.C.
Historically, is that any different?
I don't think we have, I think there's always been a little bit of that, but I don't think it's ever been to the level that we're seeing now.
Let's talk about money, because economics is really what drives pretty much every election campaign. If the country is economically happy, then the people in power get reelected. If the public is not economically happy, then there tends to be changes. Where do you see we are with the economy, with the way prices are, especially for things like food, which is, where everybody really, gets their information is they go to the grocery store. And I know for me personally, price of food is 50% higher than it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so...
and I'm not an extravagant shopper, by the way.
My husband and I are empty nesters, but my son and his wife and 4 children have just moved into us because they're trying to save money to build their home.
By the way, which is a really smart thing, and more people should be doing.
Yeah, and
quit complaining about the price of housing, and take up on family and friends where you can save money and build that American dream.
Right, and my son and myself are both very fortunate that we're in a position that we can do that. Not everybody is. I mean, and so I'm in a good spot where I'm able to, offer that to him, and he's able to take advantage of it. But just in the last month of them living with us, I have been flabbergasted at the price of food. Orange juice is $8 a gallon. Hamburger is $8.99 a pound. That is what we used to pay for a good steak. Prices are through the roof. I don't know how families are doing it.
Well, they're changing their buying habits.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course we have to, but I mean, we shouldn't have to be told that we can have a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, a tortilla, and one other thing. That's not a full meal. But that is where we're at. I don't know how people are affording to put food on the table, and then you add into that what's happening with healthcare, and with the subsidies going away, and healthcare costs increasing. People are having to make very hard, difficult choices.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll hit healthcare. All right? After this time out. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
Ring in the new year with newfound cash during the New Year Cash Extravaganza only at the Carson Valley Inn. Win up to $7,500 in giveaways every week. Then win big with $10,000 in cash and free play during the grand prize party January 31st. Start 2026 with a bang only at the Carson Valley Inn.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Kathy Durham. She's a Democrat running for CD2 in what is looking to be a crowded primary race here. We were hitting healthcare before we went to the break. So during the COVID situation, there was a lot of money pumped into the economy, a lot of inflation caused by that amount of money being pumped into the economy. Lots of families were taken care of by the government to survive, let's face it. But those subsidies were never meant to last forever. Is this a situation which is common in politics, which is where you give somebody something temporary and they get used to it, and then when it's time for it to go away, and this, by the way, goes on the spending side too, they don't want to let it go away. Should we continue to subsidize healthcare when we no longer have a COVID emergency?
I know that healthcare costs have risen in the last years much quicker than wages and much quicker than inflation. And it's never good that when you have to have the government subsidizing a private enterprise. But healthcare is something that you need to have a healthy American, to have a healthy workforce. What is the problem is first of all, the other side of the aisle has had 10 years to come up with a healthcare plan. And they haven't. They've come up with a concept of a plan, and then just the other day they came out with one page of a plan which said, I'll give you $2,000 and that'll help you with your health care, which is, again, is a subsidy, which is not going to really, $2,000 is not going to take care of anybody's health care expenses. I know when Congressman Amadei was on your show, he talked about, that, I can tell you what's not working, and this dog don't hunt. But he never himself said, here's what a health care plan will be. We're going to put one on the floor in December. And they did. Didn't work, didn't pass. And when you really look at that bill, what it did was it lowered premiums, but it also lowered what was covered in those plans. And so I think the answer to the health care is that we need to break up the monopolies of the corporations that are running the healthcare industries, from the hospitals all the way down to the pharmaceuticals. And we need to look at policies that regulate that industry to make it so that there is much more competition.
All right, let's take another break and we'll be right back.
The new year is bringing new ways to win big during the $175,000 Winter Wonderland giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 in cash every week and a top prize of $20,000 in cash during the grand finale drawing. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Kathy Durham. She's from West Wendover, former city council member, running for CD2 as a Democrat. Immigration is the hottest topic in the country, and not in a good way. Give us your thoughts on where we are with that.
Immigration has been an issue that both parties have run on and failed to do anything about.
Only since 1986.
Well, I think it goes back, well, yeah, probably since 90. But you know, I teach history, so I know the history of immigration, and I know the different laws that we have passed. And I think most people that are coming to America are coming here because they want a better life for their children. I'm a daughter of immigrants. You know, my great-great-grandfather came over from Sweden. My other grandfathers came over from Wales. We're all immigrants here, and all we're trying to do is live the American dream and have a better life, raise our kids, raise our family, have a little bit extra. We need to fix the immigration policy and quit running on it and using it as something to divide us, and figure out how it can unite us and how we can help other people have a better life.
And that's where we have to leave it. I thank you so much for coming all the way from West Window over to Reno to do this. And I wish you good luck on the campaign trail, and we'll see you down the road.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. KathyDurhamForCongress.com.
You're very welcome. And we'll be right back. Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
It happens. And when it does, there's UMC Quick Care.
Check out our archives section on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Great interviews going back as far as 2002. Really worth watching. We'll see you on the next broadcast.